Hi everybody, I hope you're having a good day. Right now we're going over how to play perfect downstrokes and perfect upstrokes. So hopefully you checked out the video on the physiology of your fingers and wrist and how they work together. And hopefully you checked out the video on the squeeze release technique and why it's a problem for us. Now in that second video, I mentioned the correct way to play really briefly. And before I talk about exactly how to do it, I want to teach you one more thing about physiology.
Man, everybody is just really going for it. Oh! Yeah.
So if you actually take your hand and totally shake it out and just hold it up without actually using any of your wrist or fingers and just totally relax them, your hand might end up in a position like this. You'll see, for me, my pointer finger kind of just naturally sits a little bit higher. I think that's true for some, but not all people, and my other fingers kind of curve down. But you'll notice that in general, the fingers are kind of straight. Now, if I were to get a string or my other hand and just raise up my wrist and go the other way, my fingers naturally close. If I don't use my finger muscles at all, and I'm being very honest with myself, and I'm only using my wrist muscles, when I move my wrist in the downward direction like that, my fingers open on their own. And when I move my wrist back in the upward direction, my fingers close on their own. Now the reason that happens is because basically the tendons that I was talking about in the other video are at work. So you can see that when my wrist goes this way, the tendons on the top of my hand have to actually cover a greater distance going through my wrist because there's a curve there, so it makes my fingers open a little bit. And when I move my wrist the other way, my tendons that are on the bottom of my hand, the ones that close my fingers, have a greater distance to travel because they're going over this bump here in my wrist. So your fingers will naturally open and close a little bit when you move your wrist, as long as you stay totally relaxed. Now this gets interesting when we actually start drumming, because it means when I lift up my wrist to play, my fingers should naturally hold onto the stick. But what people do is when they lift up their fingers, lift up their wrist, they let go with their fingers, thinking that's going to let them play more relaxed. But it actually causes tension in your hand and your wrist. So when you lift up, just make sure you think about the fact that your fingers want to curve around the stick and they want to hold on to the stick. Then all you have to do when it's time to play is you just turn the wrist and just bring the hand down.